Hey, everybody. Midday. Things are turning out market-wise. What was anticipated pre-market this morning. Essentially, the market's going nowhere. Started out as an inside day. It's still an inside day. So the trading range on the 65 minute, there was a little weakness, attempts to go higher that failed, and here's a breakdown and it pops back up. But we'll see if this little sell setup on the 5 minute can get any legs. Um, and it's just been really, really, really choppy and erratic. Um, few things doing good and bad. We'll take a look, but let's just see what sector's doing good. That's holding it together is the semiconductors. I spoke about that this morning. It's one of the keys. As long as this thing holds on, that puts, I think, a floor under the market. If tech can do well and this continues and starts moving up, that can only be seen as a positive. Um, However, while this really isn't doing anything, it's an inside day, this is a slight negative. It's in the trading range. It's at the top of the range. So far it's a green bar ignored, a bearish 180 reversal. If this can turn into a bottoming tail bar by the day's end and semiconductors hold up, I think it's got to break out. That's a long setup. Diamonds doing nothing, sideways, going nowhere. Q's inside day, such a tiny little inside day, just not doing much of anything. Now, transports are at the bottom of the range. If they can start lifting up and we can see financials and semiconductors start to move up, that's going to be a great sign. Interest rates have moved up. They moved up a lot. And while that's a negative, I think they could be at a point where they start to pull back. They're at that pivot. Maybe they go a little bit higher. You know, so if they should start to pull back and the other things mentioned fall into place, longs should work out. Just see here, junk bonds, a measure of risk on, risk off, risk off. So that's a negative, but it's coming down to support. Looking at this chart, maybe it goes down there to the 50 and the market sells off a little bit. Maybe it then holds support, which would be the key. Right? It holds this support and flips back up again. It's touch and go. The pluses and minuses, kind of flip the coin kind of thing. Um, Energy, it's done well. Oil is up at this, and this is up at resistance. So let's take a look at USO. That's up at resistance. So that's a partial negative, higher cost of energy, inflation, thoughts. But if it starts coming down, the other things mentioned fall into place, transports move up, financials start to move up, semi can move up. We could have a little bit of a blast off to the upside. So we're keeping the powder dry. We're waiting. Lift is looking like it's shaping up nicely. It's on the rising 50. It gapped up last week. It came back down. We got a bottoming tail bar here. If that can start to lift up, that should continue higher. On a little bit of a negative note, Walmart is sideways and we're getting a bearish 180. That might be one that starts to roll to the downside. Let's see what's doing badly. Well, interest rates moving up. Money typically comes out of utilities, but that's still in an uptrend. It's coming down to major support. And this is a victim. It was a benefit of interest rates going down. Now it's a victim of interest rates going up. So that's an inverse relationship that tends to hold pretty close as being reliable. Materials. Keep an eye on materials. Remember, this had the big move up on the China stimulus news. So that's pulling back to the rising 20 and on top of support. I got an alert up here to see if it can turn higher. What's doing well today? I'm going to sort this other list here. Well, that gapped up. Chemicals were a big beneficiary. Copper, Freeport McMoran. That's a decent chart, consolidating. It gaps because it's copper related. That looks like it should be able to go higher. Copper miners, consolidating there. Steel, another beneficiary of that stimulus, some more so than others. Here's a nice chemical stock. Underperformed the others that we looked at, but pulling back toward the rising 20. Going to set an alert up here. We'll see if it can start to move higher. Just flipping through a few here in the list. So a lot of things pulling back a little bit. Some damage being done. Some other things holding up like the semis. Let's take a peek through some of them. Of course, NVIDIA, that looks pretty darn good. Some of them already moving up, whereas like MU, remember that gapped up on the earnings and now pulling back and consolidating here. And if it can clear this little area or hold up, definitely hold up here today, that looks like it should be off to the races. And we want to see these semis start to move. Marvel just kind of messy. CAVGO doing well. AMD should go. Now you can see there's a lot here. Intel. It's been a big dog. If it can hold here so far, it's just an inside day. If it can move up toward that high, semiconductors moving, this thing could make a nice move. So watch that one. TR doing nothing here. I'll just set an alert. Maybe it starts moving. I mean, it'd probably be, if they start moving, it's going to be like throwing a dart. But we can pick some others that, like this one, doesn't look very good. Texas Instruments. I wouldn't bother with that. LRCX, that's an institutional favorite. If it can move up there. If I remember the symbol, hold on a second. Yeah, it's been doing well today. Getting a nice reversal day, but up at resistance, probably better for put spreads. It holds on here. Dan will probably take a look at that a little later. So things I think are, well, they're definitely shaping up which way they're going to go. As I said, the semis hold up and tech holds up and financials can turn it around. Transport's at the bottom of the range, oil at the top of the range. If all of that comes together, the markets should move higher. As always, any questions, email us. Dan and Greg at Master Trader.